you can start us out.
Great. Everybody, welcome to Seattle. Awesome to have everybody here. We've got a great pod of teams, local players coming home, tradition-rich NCAA tournament teams, and we're really excited to be hosting. Anticipate a great turnout from our city, our state, our region in support of women's basketball.
Questions for players, please.
Michael with the Bozeman Daily Chronicle. Chantel, what do you make of Peyton Ferris as a forward, one of the best Big Sky players this year? What do you make of Peyton Ferris?
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup. She's got a good all-around game, so it'll be fun to go against her.
What do you? She's obviously undersized as a forward, but she seems to make that work. What have you seen on film? Just what she displays to score so much as she does.
Yeah, I mean, I think she actually works for someone who's undersized. She posts up really well down low, and she works hard. She gets good angles, and she does what she does really well. And she has a good mid-range game, so it'll be a fun matchup tomorrow.
Katie Burrows was once your coach over there at Montana State. Have you been in contact with her at all? And how cool is it?
Yeah, she actually texted me a couple days ago saying she can't wait to see me and stuff. So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see her.
Kelsey, what were the benefits last year of traveling as much as you did during the tournament, being away from home?
I think we were tested early and with really good competition early. So, I think the tournament is a tournament regardless of where we play, or it's home, away, on neutral site. I think I'm not worried about the location. I'm worried about, focusing on the game.
Kelsey, just can you tell me about MSU's defense a little bit? They're one of the best units in the Big Sky, but what do you think they do well as a unit defensively?
They play really hard. It was evident on film that they're scrappy. They play really hard. They're a group of experienced, players that play well together. So their chemistry is strong. And in the NCAA tournament, any team that plays hard and then has good chemistry has a shot at winning a game. So I think that as a team we got to stay collected and poised.
Of course, there's always a discussion about mid-major versus, Power 5 schools and everything. So what do you make of just going up against a mid-major team, Kelsey? Is there something, do you have to kind of keep focused and, maybe focus on the opponent and not the fact that they're maybe a mid-major?
I don't look at it mid-major versus big conference. I mean, they're a very, very good basketball team. They made it into the NCAA tournament, and it's March Madness, and there's no, big school, little school thing. It's basketball, and we'll be ready to play tomorrow.
Chantel, last year, some called maybe an improbable run you guys had to the NCAA, to the Final Four. This year, obviously, you're on everybody's radar with this team. Just what does it feel like, kind of the second go-round?
For me personally, it just feels the same. It's just taking it one game at a time, having fun, experiencing it, and going all out. The only difference is people are coming out for us more. People know us more, so they're going to be gunning for us. So we just got to take one game at a time and play hard all 40 minutes.
Essentially, same question for you, Kelsey. Obviously, every defense usually have two people on you. How are you preparing this week as well?
The same way I prepare for every week. Just go out, prepare the way we can, focus on what we need to focus. I can't control what other defenses are going to do or their game plans, but we can control our offense, how we move the ball, how we play defense, how we run in transition. So, I don't spend time thinking about what other people are going to do.
Sense of confidence, though, this year, having already been there, kind of done that, going into the tournament run this year?
I think it's a new year. I think that last year was great, but I have amnesia. I'm not worried about last year. I'm worried about this year. And you're only as good as your last game. So, we're looking to start off with a good one tomorrow night, and we're excited about it.
What are the difficulties or even the benefits of having as much time off between the end of the conference tournament and the start of this?
Rest. The Pac-12 it's a grinder, it's a blender, and you're playing good teams in and out every night, and physically it takes a lot on your body. I think also mental rest, just the ability to get away, take a couple of days off, spend it with your family, do some laundry. I mean, shoot, I hadn't done laundry in months, so I feel like it was just good to get back in the gym, work on some skills, watch some film, and then get get going for this tournament.
Any more for student athletes?
About the months though for competition.
Anything more for the student athletes? Thank you, guys. Coach, then we'll
right.
get restarted. Thank you. All right, we'll take questions for Coach Neighbors.
I guess the same thing I asked them, how do you balance that when you have so much time and you want to stay, I guess, sharp, but also give them an opportunity to get their legs back?
We did try to stick to what we did last year because our kids felt confident in that. Hopefully that works again. Like they said, it's a different team, so you never know. We tried everything for the last 10 or 12 years, different places I've been. We would try to schedule a game. Some people used to schedule games in between. We never went that far, but we did have a full scrimmage against our guys' practice teams. We literally put our uniforms on last Friday, tried to simulate that. We did get in the gym, we got in the film room, but I think the two of those guys mentioned it exactly right. We were also gearing up for finals because we're a quarter school, so to be honest with you, it kind of falls at a good time because they can really, really focus on their grades, focus on their classes, focus on all their projects that they have due at this level at a school like this. And then when they're done, there's this sense, our practice has as much energy as any that we've had all year long the last week. I think because it's all basketball right now and we're heading into spring break. So it is that rested, rusted coach's concern. And you won't know until this weekend's over. It won't show up even in the first. We're going to be playing on adrenaline. This place is going to be electric on Saturday. So the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game will be sheer adrenaline. We won't know whether we're rested or rusted until after the entire weekend's over, I don't think.
Do you plan to stay in a hotel, or do you have them in their own beds?
We're going to go to the hotel. Yeah, I'll let them decide. We had a plan either way, whether to or not to, and it was almost unanimous. It was unanimous. They wanted to experience the tournament. Our kids like each other, so hotels aren't so bad. Hotels kind of stink when you don't like the people you're hanging out with, but they like each other. They like the format. They like I think the togetherness that it kind of creates, getting on that bus, coming back and forth, not just showing up on your own time. And I think it eliminates some of the distractions. We got a lot of family coming in. You know, a lot of people have asked what's the difference between this year and last year. When we were in Maryland, I had 2 people on the ticket list. I think I have 200 requests for people, or hey, we're going to be in town this weekend. So, you know, they have that same thing going, and I think the hotel, I think that's why they decided that, and we rolled with that plan.
You guys have gotten comfortable playing in front of the big crowds, or is it still something that needs to get used to?
I don't think we were used to it at first. You know, when you looked at how we performed at Notre Dame, initially it was a little bit overwhelming. When we played at Oregon State in front of a big crowd, it was a little overwhelming. Even here, when we had Stanford with a sellout crowd, I think we are used to it now. It's different. And anybody that wants to think that it's not different, just come to the game. You're going to feel it. This place, it gives you goosebumps when our crowd gets behind you. So I think we're getting better at it. I'm not telling you that we're 100% comfortable with it all the time, but I do think we're better prepared for it than we would have been if this was the first time ever that we had the place full.
Coach, what do you think of Montana State? What have you seen on film that they do well?
They play just like their coach did. You know, and I think they embody, a lot of teams do that. Ours obviously doesn't because y'all haven't seen me play. But they play like she did. I mean, they are tenacious and they are together. You can tell that their roles are very, very clearly identified, and then they play in them. And I think that's a sign of a true team. And, you know, one that's won 14 in their last 15, hadn't lost in a month, all of those things. They know how to win. They've been in some tough situations and they come out on the top of it all the time. So, you know, I think in a nutshell, they play like she does, like she did, and obviously like she coaches. And I think that's a real testament to her kids and to their entire staff, the way they get them to compete.
Tell me specifically about Peyton Ferris, Big Sky Player of the Year.
You know, we try to always compare our opponents to people in our league, and it's very easy to compare her to Pac-12 players because she's like a lot of them. You know, she is a kid that I think plays in her role and what's being asked of her to do. we tried to simulate it. It's hard to simulate because she's got a uniqueness about her. What we've said before is as hard as she is to guard on one end, let's make sure she has a harder time guarding us on the other. But they do things as a team. She's a very, very talented player that plays within the scope of her team. She, like Chantel, makes other people on the floor better when she's out there. She can get you in foul trouble, and that's a concern that we'll have, is making sure she doesn't get to the foul line and get all of our bigs in foul trouble.
Comparing her to?
Sophie Bruner, Arizona State. She shoots with range a little bit more often, but very Sophie Brunerish for anybody that's in the Pac-12. Yeah.
Coach, just the fact this team puts up about 23 three-pointers a game, just your thoughts on them firing long-range one. You like to do it too? I know.
Yeah, that's okay with us. I don't remember if anybody was here when we played Idaho. I think we broke an NCAA record for most attempted threes combined between the two teams, like 97. So shootouts will be okay. They do play fast, and that's why I think it's going to be exciting. It really stresses you defensively. I do think we have a lot of practice at it. We do it in practice. We have to defend each other a couple of times a week. We have a guys practice squad that comes in and does it one day a week, but the other 3 or 4 days we're having to defend ourselves. So hopefully we're good at it. It's always dangerous because they're going to, you get hot from that three-point line. That can be the great equalizer. The undersize goes out the door when you're adding threes instead of twos. So.
You worry at all about the expectations or the atmosphere and stuff that come with being at home in this?
Yeah. I think you'd be lying if you said you didn't. Y'all asked these kids the questions, the differences in last year. And, this time last year we said at a press conference with a 0.2% chance of going to the Final Four. 0.2 is what that number was. So we changed that around and said we have a 99.8% chance of not. We made it into a big number. And this year Obama picked us in the Final Four. Okay, so that's the difference. Nobody expected it. Obama's picking us now, and that wraps it up. And we've said it since the beginning. Percy, first year we were talking about it, and I said everything's going to be different when the rabbit has the gun or the deer has the gun. And we've gone through the year with a lot of targets on our backs, a lot of expectations. But yeah, sure, it's new. And anytime a coach heads into something or a team, a staff heads into something that they're really not sure about, it always creates a little bit of anxiety. But we've got a group of veterans, a lot of 3 and 4, and even a couple of 5-year kids that have been through a lot of it. So I just got to make sure that we have a plan to adjust to whatever happens, these over the course of this, the next 2 days, today and tomorrow.
Coach, I'm curious of something I'm glad I asked Kelsey about mid-major and major. I'm just wanting maybe your thoughts on, do you perceive there to be a gap between maybe you and Montana State at all?
In school size?
In talent and basketball-wise?
None. We're playing basketball. There's only 5 kids out there at a time. If you're playing football and you need 22 or you need 30, your rowing crew and you need a team of or track and field and something like that, I think that matters. And again, you're talking to a guy that's coming from Tulsa and Xavier background of, we haven't, it didn't even come up. That didn't even cross our minds. I tell you what, and I've said it again last year, the one thing about being a high seed that I hate is you're playing a conference champion. That's hard. One of our hardest games last year on the run was Penn. They had won 22 out of their last 23, and they knew how to win. They hadn't lost in 2 months. So I think that's really hard. The better seed you get, you're not going to get another at-large team. You're not going to get a team that snuck in or RPI'd their way into the tournament. This team went out and won their way into the tournament. 3 games in 3 days in a conference that we played a lot of people in that conference. Played Idaho, we played Eastern, we played all these, these teams. We know how good those teams are, and we've played a really tough schedule. And these kids, I've never even heard the word mid-major out of their mouths. So I'm proud of them to not look at it like that. And that's not just press conference speak. They've earned our kids' respect. We put together an edit that if you watch the edit we put together and you're not respecting them, then you don't understand basketball. So there's no thought about with that, certainly with me, and I don't suspect in that locker room either.
Anything else, everybody? All right.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Coach.